We are back with our NFL Week 1 DFS picks for DraftKings and FanDuel, and we are going to focus on why these plays make sense using matchup data, recent form, and news context. Let us start with quarterback. We like Jalen Hurts at 7,100 with a dash rank of 100 and a projection of 22 points against Dallas, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 30. He averages 22 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 8, 33, and 18, and the salary is friendly for his ceiling. News out of Philly has been bullish, with articles noting that Eagles fans should be very excited about what Hurts put on display in Week 1, and that the season opener versus the Cowboys sets the stage for a fast start. Projected ownership looks extremely low, which gives us leverage on a top-ceiling quarterback at a discount. For a salary saver at quarterback, we like Joe Flacco at 4,900 with a dash rank of 100 and a 16-point projection against Cincinnati, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 24. He brings a steady 15 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 14 and 21, and at this price he unlocks premium stacks elsewhere. The headlines around Cleveland have reinforced that he is holding the job, and models have him popping for props in Week 1, which supports the projection, while the field largely overlooks him. On to running backs. We like Derrick Henry at 7,200 with a dash rank of 100 and an 18-point projection against Buffalo, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 12. Henry averages 21 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 14, 14, and 34. News recaps highlighted that Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry combined for over 230 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns despite the narrow loss. And while one article spotlighted Henry's late fumble, that only adds bounce-back motivation for a workhorse profile at modest ownership. We also like Devon Achane at 6,900 with a dash rank of 100 and an 18-point projection against Indianapolis, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 28. He averages 18 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 17, 6, and 34. The Dolphins open at the Colts, per team reports, and this matchup fits Achane's explosive profile with big play potential at low ownership. The price gives us RB1 upside without paying all the way up, and it pairs well with a Hurts-built wide receiver time. We like Puka Nacua at 7,600 with a dash rank of 100 and an 18-point projection against Houston, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 15. He averages 20 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 26, 16, and 10. Off-season coverage framed the Rams as one of the most dangerous passing trios after adding Davante Adams alongside Matthew Stafford and Nacua, which should sustain volume and red zone chances even in balanced game plans. Yet his ownership looks surprisingly muted for that setup. For value, we like Jimmy Horn Jr. at 3,000 against Jacksonville, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 31. Draft headlines detail his path from Colorado to Carolina and a 6th-round selection. And at this price, we are playing for a few scheme touches or a busted coverage to pay off a punt WR in larger field builds, while the field pays up elsewhere. We also like David Moore at 3,000 against Jacksonville, who have one of the worst defenses overall, with an opponent rank of 31. He brings some recent volatility, with fantasy scores of 0, 3, and 12. And that spike shows the kind of GPP payoff we chase at minimum salary in a friendly matchup. Tight end. We like David Njoku at 4,700 with a dash rank of 98 and a 12-point projection against Cincinnati, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 24. He averages 14 fantasy points per game, with recent scores of 7, 0, and 15. Preseason coverage kept Njoku in the spotlight. And with Flacco under center, his middle-of-the-field targets are live for red zone equity. Tight end chalk looks spread, so we like the combination of role, matchup, and price. For a punt, we like Cade Stover at 2,600 with a dash rank of 55 and a 3-point projection against the Rams, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 25. He has shown signs with recent tight end scores of 6 and 7, and at this salary, a handful of targets can get it done to open salary for premium stacks. Defense and special teams. We like the Steelers' defense at 3,300 with a dash rank of 100 and a 7-point projection against Seattle, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 23. Recent defensive scores of 2, -1, and 2 show modest floors. But this is a price and leverage play, banking on pressure and turnover chances in Week 1 while many pay up. For value, we like the Titans' defense at 2,200 with a dash rank of 87 and a 4-point projection against the Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 18. They have recent defensive scores of 10, 3, and -1, and at near minimum salary, we are buying into a few splash plays to make the rest of the lineup work. We will wrap with quick lineup notes. Hurts pairs well with Nakua in a stars and scrubs build, while Lekani and Henry provide differentiated paths to ceiling at running back Njoku stacks, cleanly with Flacco in value constructions. Ownership across these plays looks very low, giving us leverage in Week 1 tournaments. Good luck this week, and let us know your favorite contrarian play for the opener.